So to get started, I've got my forward-facing croquis here. Nice simple pose. And the first thing I'm going to do is figure out what type of body covering I want to create. So I can pick between a dress, skirt and top, a pant and top, or a pantsuit. I could also do outerwear, but I would want to create one of those 4 body covering types to go under it as well. So we'll get started by exploring some of those basic types. First we'll do a dress, a nice fitted dress. So I'm going to trace on the outside of the body. Even though it's fitted, it's still important that I'm outside the body because it's a garment. I'm going to go right over that arm because it's tucked behind the body. For the hem, I want to make sure to create a curve. That's going to create that 3D effect of it going around the body. I'm going to create a simple sleeveless armhole, and that too is going to be a slight curve as it goes over the shoulder and under the arm. Make sure my strap sits on top of that shoulder here. And let's create a nice boat neck. And to create this fit, we need some sort of fit element. So let's do some darts right along our princess line. And let's create a yoke. Now, say this yoke was see-through. It was some type of a sheer netting. I wouldn't show that until the end when we transfer our sketch and we color it in. So right now it would just simply be a seam. And then I would want to draw in my body here. And only drawing in those lines where it shows. So I don't want to draw any of the body that's underneath the clothing. For the shoe, let's just create a cute little ankle strap. And then the bottom of it, I'd see the toe. And then the foot would fit inside of that. And I don't want to get too fancy with the shoes because it's really about the clothing here. So just something simple. Because we've already done all that work with our croquis, we don't have to spend too much time. We can just trace right over. Make sure you always have a sharp pencil. And I can start to shape out my head here since we have practiced creating our faces. We now know the shape. So I'll create a little bit of a jawline here with a sharper chin. Top of my head. And there we have it. Now let's go a little bit further and create some princess seams along the whole dress. So I would want to create those from this seam here, from this yoke seam. Give myself a little curve as I come over the bust. And then along the skirt, they're gonna follow the side seam and flatten out just a little bit as they come around the body. So just a little bit smoother than our side seam. Now I've added princess seams as another option. Now let's go ahead and create a skirt. And this time, let's say I like this dress here that I created and I want to make a skirt with a top that's the same as this. So what I can do is fold my paper, trace off just the skirt or whatever portion of the garment you like. And it's really about using our tracing paper to our advantage so that we're not drawing the same things over and over again and we're reusing work that we've done. I can start to draw the legs as well because those won't change. And now that I have my base, let's add in those princess seams. Now I have that base, I can get that original sketch out of the way, make sure I line everything up. And now let's create a skirt. With a waistband here. Our waistband's going to go straight up. And we can do the shoes later. Now let's give her a top that has a little bit of a loose fit, but it's tucked in. So we want it to come tight on the body around the bust area, and then it's going to just loosen up and then tuck in. So just giving a little bump there. And then let's give her a neckband. Bring that to just under the arm. We have a nice halter top. Oh. And we'll give her a side bust dart so that we have a little fit, but it's still a little loose. And then we're going to do just a couple lines just to show that it's tucked in and there's a little bit of bunching. Just like that. And then we'd go ahead and we'd finish up the rest of the body like so. And then we have a whole new outfit. Next, let's draw some pants. So I've already started a pair right here on my piece of tracing paper. And the most important thing with pants will be the crotch seam. We have to make sure that we have that crotch seam in order to create two legs here. And I like to sometimes put in a little wrinkle here in the crotch just to show that shadowing. And then it's a simple fitted pair of pants here, capris, I should call them. Now at the knee, since it's bent, I'm going to create a little wrinkle, and it's basically just a zigzag, a squiggle line. Simple as that. It actually looks a little better when you're kind of messy and carefree with it. And just like my skirt, I want to curve around that leg to create that 3D effect at the hem. And then it's always important to draw that leg and show where the ankle is so that we can see how long the pant or the skirt or whatever we're drawing is. And again, I'm just going to simply trace over the foot real quick, and I can draw that shoe in later. Now let's say I wanted to create a fly front. So a typical pair of pants would have a fly front. I would just simply create some stitching. And then usually it's going to have a waistband. Create a little skinny one. And again, my waist is going to be curved just slightly to show it going around the body. My seam needs to go all the way up through the waistband, that crotch seam there. Same with the stitching, and then we're going to put a little button. So a simple little pair of pants, and we need to make sure that we add in our dart. And we could even put in a little pocket if we want. Show it coming just outside, because usually they stick out on the side just a tiny bit. Same idea of having our body, our shoulders, things like that coming out from the clothing. And now let's say I want to create a loose fitting tank top that actually hangs over the top of these pants. That's what this is for here. Fold our page. Now let's just create the top as it hangs over the pant. So I'll start with a couple of skinny straps. And then the armhole coming under the arm there. Give it a simple little neckline, little V-neck. And then we're going to have it hang straight from the bust over that hip. Now let's give it a high-low hem. So we'll have it here in the front, and then it's going to wrap around to the back of the body. Same on the other side. Now this is just my guideline for my hem. Here's that pant. Now I'm going to flip my tracing paper over again. Now I'm going to create a little bit of a flowy hemline here. So I'm going to have the fabric come in front with a fold right here. And then it's going to flow around. And then here it's going to actually be a little bit behind, so we're going to step it up just a touch. So we have just a slightly flowy top here. Now we're going to fold back. And now we can erase that guideline. Add back in that hem that we just drew. So here's that fold in front. And now I'm only going to draw the pant as it shows coming out from that top. that's all the clothing, and then we go ahead and finish bringing in the rest of the body just as we normally would. And that's the finished page. So sometimes you may need just one layer of tracing paper, sometimes you may need 2, 3, even 5 or 6. So whatever it takes, and you just go back and forth until you have what you're looking for.